We were in a pickle.
We were in a pickle.
We needed an answer.
And AI let us down. We asked what the best shape was, and AI said that there was no best shape. How is there not a best shape?
I mean, there has to be.
So,
if there's multiple of anything, there's got to be a best and there's got to be a worst. Like children. I'm the best of my siblings.
Exactly. Same here.
My sister is the worst.
Same here. So we're here to settle this, all right? You know, if AI can't figure that one out, we're going to have to come in and step in and do the work.
If AI can't do something, then I guess humans can do something occasionally.
All right, so let's get things kicked off here with the circle.
The circle.
The circle.
The classic. 360 degrees. We all know. If you split it in half, you got 180.
It's crazy how that works.
Quick math.
I will say, something that might drag the circle down a little bit is when you're doing math in relation to circles.
Oh, it sucks
it
ass.
Starts to suck.
I don't want to do it.
Exactly.
Yeah. What's that called? You have to use like sine.
You have to use pi r squared or something for the radius or something.
Yeah.
Weird.
I haven't been in math in a while.
Diameter. Semicircles. Do you think semicircles are better or worse than circles?
I mean, they're kind of objectively worse, no? Because you have to solve for the circle and divide by 2. Why are we talking about math? The circle's just cooler in general.
The circle is cooler than a semicircle.
It makes a wheel. Hold on. I'll be right back.
Yeah. Let's get a demonstration here. I thought you were going to bring a whole bite. Oh.
So,
this is actually great for the demonstration.
You got a wheel.
All right.
This shit is not a semicircle. Imagine if it was. It wouldn't be as cool.
Yeah.
Just put this right here
So
for
that's
the rest of the video.
That's a good example of a circle and why they're awesome.
A good example of a circle.
This is going to make the whole video look a lot cooler, I think. So yeah, circle, pretty cool, I think we've determined.
I like circles.
So as of now, we're going to... Here's our
Circle's above semicircle, in my opinion.
We're just going to adjust the rankings as we go. So we got circle, and below that we got semicircle.
There's no semicircle K gas station.
That's true. You've never pulled up to the semicircle K. So on the subject of circles...
Yes.
We've got one... We got kind of a misfit here. We got the oval.
This is what happens if a circle gets... What's that shit? Anorexia.
That's true. If you look at it a little differently, maybe it gets obtuse, you could say. You know,
I
wide
think you're
circle
acting a bit obtuse right now.
Really?
That it's like the parallelogram to the rectangle. It's taking a common shape and switching something up.
But is it better than the OG?
Oval better than circle?
I don't know.
Let's think what objects are circle and what objects are oval. Football can be described as oval. Eyeball.
That's true.
Rugby.
That's I don't know. Circle's got basketball and soccer ball and
wheel.
Every ball other than that.
My balls.
Yeah, I kind of think circle's probably better than oval.
I agree, but oval has something interesting about it. I'll
oval
give you
is
that.
Still cool. Like I think he's gonna beat a lot of things on this list. But
oval's definitely better than semicircle.
Yeah, for sure.
I would go to oval K if it was a thing.
Yeah, if there was an oval K near here, we'd be pulling up there and getting some gas, I think.
Not gonna lie, I give triangle the top spot right now.
Triangle at S. All right, so I want to hear your reasoning.
Have you ever played that game where you have to build bridges? You build them and then it's like a mobile game, or it's maybe on the PS3. You have a guy walk across and then it's like you have to build it structurally so it doesn't kill him.
I'm not sure I have.
If you've ever played that game, the triangle would be your best friend. Also, I'd like to say the math for the triangle isn't that hard. You can make cool shapes out of combining triangles together.
My main thing is, like, why is it better than a circle, though?
It's more obtuse. Oblong.
Oblong, per se?
I would say you're obliged to pick it.
Okay, triangle. Triangle. All right. There's something beautiful about that name. Triangle. All right. There's 3 angles. 3 angles. 3 lines.
I will say, none of the other ones
beautiful.
Have the word angle in them. It's also the smallest polygon you can make. You can make it... I like stretching one of the points and making it look funny.
Also, even if you use them as wheels, they're kind of funny as wheels.
They're very funny as wheels. If we're picking out of this list things to use as wheels,
birthday hats,
witch hats.
Circle might be a little more practical, but triangle just has that cool factor that I think you can't ignore. We'll put triangle at the top of the list for now. Square. All right, you know they say it's hip to be square. I might have to argue with that.
I don't know if they say it's hip to be square.
I think there's a song about that.
Oh, okay, probably.
It's hip to be square.
Don't people call people square when they're dumb? Oh.
Is it dumb or is it just like you're boring?
Maybe.
Yeah, I think that's what it means. Let's look
It
this up.
is boring, even if that's not what it means.
What does it mean to call someone a square? I think it just means they're boring.
Yeah, okay.
Conventional, boring, old-fashioned. Yeah, so that's what square feels like.
And I don't think they're wrong with that.
I agree with that. You know,
I do think squares are kind of cool because they are very perfect. Minecraft.
ooh,
Cube is different though. Cube is very cool and square is kind of boring.
that's true. Should we throw cube on this list? Are we getting geometrical out here?
We could throw some 3D stuff. We could throw some 3D stuff. Pyramid is awesome.
Let's take this slow.
Yeah,
All right.
I'm getting ahead of myself.
So I'm gonna put square right below oval and above semicircle. But I think you did bring up a good point here that pyramids are kind of cool as hell. There's these massive pyramids today that there's so much speculation over, and they're just pyramids are so cool that thousands of years ago there's this pharaoh, and he's just like, I want a big
I want to
pyramid.
die.
I want one right there.
Yeah, that's crazy. You give someone ultimate power, and they call themselves a god, and that's what they end up doing. It's got to say something about how cool they are.
If you were granted thousands of slaves, this guy decided make a big old pyramid in the sand. All right, rectangle. Is it more cool than square?
I don't know.
It kind of just makes things a little more complicated.
I think it's worse.
Is it better than semicircle? Are we really hating on semicircle?
I kind of like semicircle more.
Rectangle below semicircle.
Yeah.
Parallelogram.
Cool last name.
Cool name.
Parallelogram.
Cannot ignore that.
Parallelogram.
I would put that probably just right below or right above circle.
Like, I'm more excited when I see a parallelogram than when I see a circle.
I'm rather elated when I see a parallelogram.
Exactly. I'm euphoric when I see a parallelogram.
I would agree. We're going to put that above circle.
Okay.
Let's go ahead and introduce our next shape here. We got the rhombus.
The rhombus.
Here,
They could have called it a diamond. They could have called it a diamond. But they called it a rhombus.
A rhombus.
Because that's the real name.
And they threw an H in there. They didn't even need to. It's kind of like a parallelogram, but perfect.
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of like a square, except for
the square version
nah.
of the parallelogram. I think that's my favorite.
I don't know if I can put it above triangle and pyramid. It's
definitely cooler than parallelogram.
Yeah.
I think it's better than triangle, but I don't know. Pyramid's pretty awesome. It's also unfair being the only 3D shape.
Yeah. You just let pyramid come in here and wreck everything.
Well, it can stay. I would probably put rhombus above triangle, personally.
I can get behind that. I do agree with that.
It also has bus as the last 3 letters.
That's true. It's rhombus. I wish that was my name.
Would you rather
full legal name?
Rhombus?
Rhombus. Trapezoid. This is a nice contender. But here's the thing with trapezoid. It's one of those things where it's like cool when you first are like
when
get
you
on
first
the trapezoid.
discover that it's cool. It's awesome.
But now I feel like the culture's kind of shifted. Damn it!
My blood sugar's low and I'm sorry.
Yeah, sure. A couple years ago, trapezoid's sick as hell. It's awesome. But I feel like recently people have found out that trapezoid's really cool, and it's kind of watered it down.
There's a new meta.
It's like, yeah, we get it. Trapezoid's funny and cool. But, it's become less cool because of that.
I mean, it's kind of like a rhombus, but longer, and one of the lines is inverted. So it's like if you flip the polarity on the rhombus a bit and stretched it.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I feel like trapezoid is kind of the coolest name ever.
It's having Zoid.
Zoid and trap.
Yeah, it's a Zoid trap. I honestly would put it either right above or right below triangle. Should we put it above triangle?
Sure. It has a way cooler name.
Yeah, that's
and it's
true.
similarly lookingly cool. And you can also stack them in cool ways with each other.
That is really funny and cool.
Kite.
Eh.
It's kind of the only one you can fly, but that's really the only positive. You could probably fly a rhombus, actually. And a parallelogram.
Flying a rhombus would be hilarious.
Follow-up video to this one.
We gotta fly. If you want to see us fly rhombuses,
if we hit 20 likes, we'll fly a rhombus.
Fly rhombuses. Kite is it's kind of unique, but it still doesn't make it cool. It's kind of just a...
Not even gonna lie, I'd put kite below semicircle.
I'm honestly down.
Or below rectangle.
Let's put kite at the bottom, honestly. Let's go through the gons here. Let's kind of get the gons down. We got the pentagon. What are we thinking? It's kind of funny because there's a building that's called the Pentagon.
Pentagon has a building, which is why I think it's the second best of the gons in my opinion. I like the octagon because octopus.
Should we put all these gons? Where should we put these gons? Pentagon, I think, is better
Pentagon
than
is
circle.
better than... I think it goes right above circle. Pentagon.
All right, yeah. Hexagon's not really that interesting.
I'm not
to
going to
me.
lie. I don't give a shit about the hexagon.
I don't really
Is it a
either.
stop sign or is that a pentagon?
It's not a pentagon. The hexagon... No. Stop signs are octagons.
Yeah, you're right.
Hexagon, nobody really cares about the hexagon. I would put it below semicircle. Octagon, they're pretty...
I
alright.
fuck with the octagon.
Octagons are pretty cool.
I'd put it above pentagon personally, but 7's valid.
I can see that. Octagon's got more uses.
There's no pentapus.
They need to make one of them. Nonagon, that sounds pretty sick.
It's a sick name, and rarity definitely helps with it.
Bruh. Get your sugars under
Get
control.
your shit together.
Nonagon and Decagon are both pretty cool. They just sound like...
Decagon makes me want to say dodecahedron every time, and I can't, though.
Nonagon and Decagon, I feel like, are on the same level.
Decagon as a shape is cooler. Nonagon as a name is cooler.
So I feel like that balances them out, and they're about the same.
They're literally equal to me. Like,
We'll put them here for now.
it really depends on your use case, the list. It could definitely change
Nonagon and
if you
what the
got
hell?
different priorities.
Decagon. All right, so now let's hit a couple of geometrics, and then we should wrap up this list. We're going to do... cylinder.
Dodecahedron!
Dodecahedrons are pretty cool looking.
The problem, we did completely stop caring about how difficult the math is as soon as we got to the ones that are hard to do the math
That's
for.
true. Because at that point, nobody does
Nobody
math.
does it.
So, dodecahedrons are sick because they're like gems in games. And they look cool.
They're valuable.
They have value. I'm down to put them, like, really high. Like, above trapezoid.
I'm with you.
Maybe even rhombus.
I don't know. I'll put...
All right.
Fuck!
Yes!
Rhombus, I tried!
All right, dodecahedron has beaten out rhombus. Let's go to cube. All right, cube. Cubes are pretty cool. Minecraft. I mean,
I'm not feeling it.
you're not feeling cubes?
What's...
Ice cubes? I mean,
Oh.
that does not make you feel something?
It make me feel cold. Where do you want to put it?
Cubic meters?
True. The name is probably what's throwing me off. I think I started thinking about the names too
I
much.
don't think
Cube
they're
is
like
a very
super
cool
high
shape.
on here. I just don't think they're very low. I would put it like above octagon maybe.
It's so hard to
Minecraft,
compare.
So many video games.
Yeah, they're very useful. They're like the most useful thing on the list,
Yeah,
probably.
we measure in cubic things.
Yeah.
Put it right above octagon.
Use both.
Let's go to cone.
Dice are cubes, typically. Yeah, cone.
Cones are
They're cool looking.
snow cone. TP.
Snow cone and ice cream and TP.
TPs are kind of sick.
TPs are pretty sick. They're almost... Cones kind of have something I like more than
Hats.
pyramids.
All right, I wouldn't go there.
When I first looked at the cone, I was like, that's some bullshit. And then you started talking. I'm like, this is my favorite shape on the list. I'm blaming my blood sugar.
I mean, what are you really thinking about cones here? Because I'm thinking very middle of the pack.
I kind of like them. We could put cones below octagon. How about that?
All right, I can see that.
It's pretty middle of the pack.
That
I
seems
kind
like
of...
a solid for a cone. The one thing I'm thinking though is I just thought of traffic cones. Does that bump it up or down?
Okay, hear me out.
Traffic cones are kind of funny.
Traffic cone bumps it up. Absolutely. You can put them... You can do a lot of things with traffic cones that are funny. When I was in tennis, we put one on top of the fence. We climbed up and put it on top of the fence before our coach got to practice. And then we all laughed when he got there, and that was pretty cool.
That seems like an epic prank.
But I
There's
will say...
a cone on a fence.
Exactly. Athletic cones suck ass, though.
That's true.
I'm not trying to
Yeah,
run.
they do suck. All right, we'll just leave it there. I think that's fine. Spheres are pretty cool.
I would put it number 2. My first word was ball.
Yeah.
I've been a baller since life. And honestly,
All right.
I'll say...
If we smash enough likes, we're making merch. And I've been a baller since life.
I didn't even do the grammar right. I said since life.
Yeah. I've been a baller since life.
Since I was alive.
Since life began. I kind of see your point here with spheres. Spheres are sick as hell.
It's just basketball.
Also, if you really get down to an atomic level, it's represented. Everything
I was
is
gonna say, yeah.
represented as a sphere.
Yo, they
Okay.
look to us when we represent them
We
as
got
a sphere.
atoms, spheres, electrons, spheres. All the other things in chemistry that I
Neutrons,
should know about.
protons.
Spheres.
This man, like an hour ago, said, yeah, school sucks. Yesterday I was at chemistry for 4 hours.
and I don't know anything about it. And I'm over halfway through the semester. God save me.
ChatGPT might be actually what's saving you. I don't know.
It's helping me cope at least. So should spheres be 2? Are they going to take the spot of dodecahedron?
That's up to you. Personally, yes,
I'll
but
give
we
it
obviously would average our answers.
I'll give it there.
It's not my list.
Spheres build life, in a way.
Without spheres, would we be here?
Let's go cylinder.
Yeah.
Cylinder.
Ooh, I like cylinder.
Okay, you know what?
Have you ever said that word a lot of times in the same, 30 minutes?
Cylinder.
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 Me and Isaac read a story about a guy who got a cylinder-shaped object stuck in an M&M's tube. And he was asking how to get it out on Reddit.
Also, it's funny to describe things as cylindrical.
Cylindrical is a great word.
Practically as well. You got cups. I mean, what would you do without
Axles.
cups? Axles. You got pipes.
True.
You got got all kinds of cylinders.
PVC pipes? I'm struggling. I think we've been doing this for a while. And my brain's broken because every time we get one, I'm like, oh, that's the coolest. That's the coolest one for sure.
Is it better than sphere?
No.
I don't know. I don't think it is.
I think genuinely I would put it third.
I feel like cylinder goes right under rhombus.
Okay. Oh, yeah, that's fine. There's so many cool shapes now that I think about it. We have a whole list of 8 awesome shapes.
Yeah, dude.
Our top 10 is all pretty cool.
All right, rectangular prism. Very practical, kind of boring though, because it's just like...
I like the word prism.
Prism is cool.
Prism adds a lot.
But just being a rectangular one,
yeah,
kind of takes from it.
I'd want to be like a cooler prism.
I'd put that below octagon, honestly.
It's cool. I'd put it below cone, but I'm fine with that.
Oh, you're right. You're right. Cones are definitely cooler. I'm gonna put it right here. Should we call it there?
Click on this one. I got one more. Gotta do a Taurus.
Oh, Taurus.
Where are you putting the ring?
Rings? I mean, you can put them on your finger.
Okay. Can you go back to the pictures? So I do DoorDash, for those of you that don't know. I had to go to CVS one time. I had one item for shopping to pick up. And I had to deliver it to this man. He had a white van. He came out to pick it up from me. Didn't say a single word the whole time. Huh. And the only thing he bought was a cock ring. And it looked a lot like the Taurus. I didn't want to look at the man in the eye. I don't know why he didn't have me leave it at his door. And that's all I'll say about that.
Very strange.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say that boosts the point.
It doesn't boost it for me. That's the one. I probably would have been.
No, I was really liking the Taurus there for a second.
Sorry.
It's a cool shape.
You don't have to put
it
on
It's like a ring from Sonic.
Yeah, exactly. Or a ring from marriage. And if you think,
both of those things are radical.
If you put any of the items on the list on your penis, they make it less cool.
That's true.
You don't have to put it on your penis.
That's
it's just
true.
that this was a weird person.
Pyramids, for example.
If you put
Actually, that might actually be kind of
cool. I was kind of
up
above parallelogram.
Parallelogram. I get that. All right, I think that's a solid list for now. There's lots of... We got 23 shapes here ranked. There's lots of shapes. If you want, we can revisit, get some of these more irregular shapes, you could say.
Yeah, and also if you have an argument for any of these...
Tell us, you surely disagree with probably a lot of this.
I don't think so.
Hopefully not. Hopefully you have a good opinion, and you don't.
If you do have a good opinion, you'll agree.
But if you have a bad opinion, feel free to leave in the comments. Get more traction on my video. Helps me out. Leave a like anyway. Subscribe to my Patreon.
The only real good opinion you could have that dissenting from ours would be putting rhombus at 3.
Yeah.
And that's because that's my opinion. And my opinion
That's our only big disagreement is I'm dodecahedron. Are you guys dodecahedron gang or rhombus gang?
I would say rhombus riders.
Part of the dodecahedron destroyers or the rhombus riders? Let us know.
Leave it downstairs in the comments.
Right. Head downstairs and let us know. Pyramids, spheres, dodecahedron, rhombus, cylinder, trapezoid, triangle, torus, parallelogram, cube, octagon, cone, nonagon, decagon, rectangular prism, pentagon, circle, oval, square, semicircle, hexagon, rectangle, and little old kite sitting there at the bottom.
A lot of shapes.
Shapes are pretty cool.
Shapes are cool.
Most of these shapes are cool.
I have more opinions on shapes than I thought I would. And I get more excited about shapes than I thought I would.
Oh yeah, go ahead and shoot them. I'm going to go ahead and shoot you guys.
Alright. I'm going to end the video.